Hi, I'm Eivør, and you're watching On Tour with Tauri.
Hey everyone, I'm here backstage at the Thalia Hall in Chicago with Eivør. Thank you so much for taking the time out to chat with me today.
Thank you.
It's been, I've been so excited for this show, and of course it's sold out for you today as well. You're also midway point through the tour. How has it been so far?
I'm so happy to be here, first of all, and thank you for chatting with me today. It's been amazing. We've been touring North America now for, over 2 weeks, something like that, and we're halfway through, and it's just been amazing to meet, my crowd over here and to be able to share, all these special moments with people is just wonderful.
Yeah. I bet. Just especially now because N has been out for quite a few months now, and now you actually get to physically see people's reaction when you're up on stage doing your thing. How has that been? How has the crowd engagement been for you?
Yeah, it's always such a special thing to, when you make an album, it's a different process. You're in the studio, you're like more introverted in a way, and then when you go on tour and share the music live, you express what you've just created in a different way, and you share it with people, so it's a different conversation, and that's always for me where the magic hides, so it's just been really wonderful to be able to share some new music with the crowd, and they've been incredible. Yeah.
Well, I definitely feel that from live footage that I have seen of yourself. I definitely feel that's where you come alive. That's your home is on the stage, and that's just. I'm so excited for tonight. I cannot wait to see you up there just doing your thing.
That's nice to hear. Thank you. And that's really how I feel. Like when you're on stage, that's the moment that I always look forward to.
Yeah.
It's.
Well, you did have a moment where the tour bus unfortunately got stuck and you had to fly out to San Francisco. But on the plus side, and props to you and Sylvaine for flying out there, alone and getting it done, the people in San Francisco got to experience a raw, more vulnerable side of you. Like, how was that show?
That was actually, beautiful show, and the crowd was amazing. I was of course worried because I didn't have my band, and I was worried people would maybe think, hey, we paid for a band show, but unfortunately that was just not possible. They were stuck in the snow, so we tried to find the best solution. So me and Sylvaine just put our guitars on our backs and flew to San Francisco and kind of improvised. And I got to play some songs that I maybe wouldn't play otherwise on tour. So it was a different and wonderful show to play, and I'm glad we could make it happen.
Yeah, I'm glad you could make it happen too. I just can't imagine the stress you must have felt when the bus got stuck and you're like, what do we do now?
Yeah, there was, big discussions in the tour bus and with my management, with the bookers, like, what do we do? Do we cancel? And I would just hate to cancel. It's the worst nightmare for me always, is having to cancel a show, and I always do anything in the world to avoid that. So I was glad we could find a solution.
So speaking of Sylvaine, how did that pairing come? How did you choose? Did you choose her for support, or was that something within management?
Yeah, I did. Well, I was introduced to her music recently through our booking agencies and label, and I always find it so exciting to find someone special to do the support, because there are so many beautiful artists out there, and I always think of it as a part of the show. It's such a big part of the show that we're having Sylvaine with us, because when I came across her music, I was like, oh my God, she's so magical, and it's it's just been one of these beautiful new discoveries for me, and I'm so glad she's joining us here.
Yeah, I feel the same way. You've got to have, like, your support has to have that even flow to go into the rest of.
Yeah, it's like when she starts, I feel now the show started.
Yeah.
It's part of the whole flow of the experience. So yeah.
So have you had any memorable moments so far, like within crowd interactions, or just apart from obviously the stress that got involved with the San Fran?
Well, apart from
show.
Me waking up somewhere in the mountains thinking that I was in San Francisco one morning, and I wasn't. Apart from that, I mean, it's been very smooth. I have such a lovely team around me that I travel with, and they all do their job so well. So it feels smooth for us to be on this tour, and it's just been, every night is different.
Right.
Every audience is different. So I always just enjoy to take it all in and vibe with whichever vibe is in the room.
Yeah.
And use that to kind of create something special. So it's wonderful, and I'm excited to meet the crowd here in Chicago tonight.
Yeah. I'm excited to see how it'll be, especially with it actually being, like a sold out show as well, and that's going to be exciting for you too, just knowing that all of these people are here for you and to be here for you and to listen to you perform up on stage. And speaking of the stage, what's like one of the most craziest things that has happened to you up on stage? It can be from like any point within your time doing this.
Oh my God, what is the craziest thing that happened to me on stage? I mean, there have been definitely been a few crazy nights where everything has just gone bad. Once I used to play an ukulele, and I accidentally stepped on it and broke it on stage. So that was maybe not the craziest thing. And once my top fell off, that was quite awkward.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But I don't know. I'm not sure. But I mean, every show is different, so it's never the same, and that's how I love for it to be, because it has to be unique every time. We're not just going on stage doing the same thing every night. Although we play the same set list on this tour every night, we still have moments that take us somewhere else, and I like music to be like that, to kind of be quite open and take you on a journey. So that's you never know what's going to happen.
That's exactly how I like my musical journey. It's just...
Do you play music as well?
Well, I don't play it, but I'm a huge consumer of music.
I
don't have any talent within music, but ever since I was very little, like my mum would say that the only thing that would keep me quiet as a child was Disney's Fantasia.
Oh, yeah, that's
because
amazing.
She had the animation and then the classical music coming in over it, and she just said there was the old VHS, and she'd stick it down and she'd rewind it, and I'd just sit there for hours just like, and that's where my love of music started, and that's why I started my channel as well, because I feel like we as human beings tend to box ourselves in a little bit within music.
Yes.
And we don't tend to like look outside of what we're comfortable with.
Yeah.
And that's why I started the channel, just so that I could step outside of that and discover people. And I'd found you before the channel, which was with the Last Kingdom.
Okay,
the Last
cool.
Kingdom. And I just heard your voice, obviously, in the main theme, and then throughout that, and I was like, who is this? I need to discover more, and that's where I fell in love with you and your voice and just your presence. Like, I can feel that presence through a screen, never mind what I'm gonna feel tonight. So.
Oh my God, that's beautiful to hear. Thank you so much.
What is a must-have item that you bring with you when you're touring, traveling?
On tour. What's a must-have? Well, what do I have in the tour bus? Well, for me, I always bring my drawing kit because I like to draw.
Yeah.
And on the time off in the bus when we're driving, I really love to just dive into a drawing or something. So that's something I always have with me. What else? a good pajamas.
Yeah, you got to be comfortable.
And good, like, comfy shoes that you can't see right now, but I'm wearing them. You know, anything that can make you feel at home, I think, because when you're on the road for a long time, it's important to, like, have your daily routines. And so, yeah, a good book, good pajamas, drawing kit, headphones, very important. Yeah, I think that's it. Or there's probably plenty more, but
just home comfort.
But I always forget something.
Like, same.
So when we're on tour, I'm like, oh, I forgot that. I forgot my, blah, blah. So you often have to go out and buy stuff.
Well, you mentioned you like art and drawing. I was going to ask you about that because I just recently did discover that you are an artist and that you do paint. And it's a lot of seascapes and waves. And what draws you into that side of things particularly?
I think it kind of goes hand in hand with my music. Yeah. When I draw, it's the same kind of source of inspiration for me. And I grew up in the Faroe Islands, which is like in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, and I'm used to the wild power of the ocean that kind of surrounds the islands where I come from, and it's always been like some kind of core of inspiration for me. Just the contrasts of it, the softness, the and also the wild power that it holds. So it's just something that I really enjoy drawing as well. And when I make music, I kind of dive into that vibe also somehow. And I like my music to reflect that somehow. In an abstract way, of course, but yeah.
I definitely feel like it does connect really well, and that's another thing we sort of have in common is I like the ocean. There's just something about it, that brute, even when it's calm, just everything about it is so magical. Like my whole sleeve is nautical themed. And
oh, is it?
Yeah,
okay,
really
that's so
right
cool.
Now, but yeah, I've always loved just water in general. And
yeah, me too. And it's like when I travel and when I haven't been close to the ocean for a long time, I don't really notice it, but I notice it when I come back and I see the ocean. I'm like, oh yes, there it is. It's like coming home and just a view, and it's just it has just almost like a doorway into the further away, just the unknown and all the mystery of life, and it's just gives me that feeling, and it's beautiful.
It is. It's a magical thing, and I think it's magical because, like you said, it's so much of it is undiscovered, and we don't know a lot about it, and there's just that magic in it of thinking, well, what is down there?
Exactly.
What do we still have to discover? And
yeah, it's beautiful.
It is. It's gorgeous.
And in the Faroe Islands where I come from, it's so people are so connected to the ocean because it's what we have around us, both for food resources, but also all the myths, all the old sagas and myths. They always have something to do with the ocean, and it's dangerous. Men would go out fishing. You wouldn't know whether they would come back because the ocean is also dangerous, and so people have a certain respect for it as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Moving on to your voice, and how do you keep yourself not only physically healthy during touring, but like mentally, because it's also very mentally exhausting on you. How do you keep yourself and your voice healthy while touring?
I think that over time I've just found some routines that work for me, and it's all very simple. It's all about kind of listening to your body. So especially with the voice, if I feel a little bit, after like 15 shows in a row, if I feel a bit rusty, I know what to do that night, what to avoid, and how to kind of avoid being more exhausted. So there's just small adjustments that I do when I perform that help me, you know, wake up the next day with a voice. And also just mentally, you know, it's all these little things to, you know, just have some time for yourself every now and then, and go for a walk, do a little meditation, maybe some stretching, have a cup of tea, and most importantly, to have wonderful people around you. I think that's number one. To have people who you care about, who care about you, and we all take very good care of each other. So if we feel that one in the crew is a bit worn out, one day we'll help out, you know. So I think that's just how we do it, and it's a flow, you know. So you just have to. I don't have like one specific recipe. It's more of a flow thing.
Right, just how you're feeling in that moment.
You have to feel how what you need. Yeah.
That makes sense.
And sleep. Yes. That's actually number one for me.
Yeah.
If I get enough sleep, I'll be okay.
Yeah. I think like same for me.
Yeah. If I don't get any sleep, I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You mentioned about having a family, a close-knit tour family, and I feel that's very important too. I can't imagine touring with people that you just aren't connected with, because there is a level of trust that you do have to put in others, especially when you're all on the same bus together.
Yes. I mean, thank God we like each other. Because, I mean, yeah, we're very close. You live in this bus, we all sleep in the bunks, and we have breakfast together almost every morning, and so it's and we also are good at giving each other space, because you're not always in a social mood, so, and we don't have to, you know, talk all the time, or we can also just be silent together, which I think is important when you're traveling together for a month. So.
Well, even in, I think, everyday relationships, I think it's important to be able to find somebody that you can just be yourself and be quiet and just do your own thing, and they're doing their own thing, you're doing your own thing, and
exactly. So, and we're all extremely different characters. I mean, some of us are super sporty, and my sound engineer and my photographer, they went climbing this morning at 8, and I was deep asleep by then. And, you know, and some of us just like to take it more easy and just go for a walk or have a coffee, you know. Thanks for the coffee, by the way.
You're welcome.
It's delicious.
I'm glad you like it.
So we're all like, we all have different routines, and that's nice.
Do you have any pre-show rituals that you like to do before going up on stage?
I don't like have a ritual like with incense and you know, but I have things that I really are important to me before I go on stage, and that's it's all about space, to create my mind space, to make it right, you know. So I like to spend some time alone in my backstage room, and kind of do some kind of meditation just for the night, just to kind of get into the right state of mind before the show, because I don't like to go on stage with too many thoughts in my head. So I like to just be quite an open vessel when I go on stage. So that's what I try to achieve. And of course I warm up my voice, do some vocal warm-ups, and I think that's the main thing. And I try to avoid going out anywhere, like preferably like 3 hours before the show. I need peace and quiet.
Yeah, and that makes sense for the kind of artist and performance that you do up on stage, putting yourself and your whole soul out there.
Yeah.
It makes sense. I spoke to Einar from Warduna.
Oh, yes.
And he's very much the same way. He likes his quiet, and it makes sense for what you both do and what you both bring to the music. So
yeah, I love Einar. He's incredible.
Yeah.
Love his music too.
Yeah.
And
me too.
I think we feel the same way. But it's something, because when you go on stage, you wanna be there 100%, and you don't want to be thinking about, oh, I forgot to do that, maybe I should do that. You know, you just want to be absolutely in the moment. Yeah.
You have a tour starting soon with Heilung on March 7th. How are you feeling about that?
I'm excited for that. Super excited. I've been so lucky to have toured a lot with Heilung last year, and also a bit, the 2 past years I've done gigs with them, and we've been, Europe, Australia, America together, and we've become great friends, and it's been incredible to get to know them, and also their crowds, and I'm so grateful to get to do one more tour with them. Yeah.
I've seen them. I think we saw them a couple of years ago for the very first time. And
it's something else, isn't it?
It's so beautiful to watch. You just immerse yourself into what they're doing, and it's the show we actually went to. It was their first show, so they had like a Native American tribe come on and bless the stage and everything.
Yes. Yeah, that's so beautiful.
So
I love that they do that. Everywhere they go, they bring local musicians and tribes, invite them into their world, and it becomes such a beautiful reunion of cultures, which I think is so beautiful. Yeah.
Well, do you have any rest of your plans that you can share?
Plans for the tour?
Tour, or just whatever else you have coming up that you obviously can share.
Well, I'm just excited to continue this tour, this journey, and to hopefully come back soon. The rest of the year is full of tours in Europe, and next year I'm going to Australia, and it's just life is full of touring these days, and I'm also working on new music, which I hope to be able to finish at some point. Hopefully soon. Let's see.
Well, thank you so much, Eivør, for taking the time to chat with me today. Do you have any last words for anybody watching this interview? Just a thanks or anything like that?
Well, if you listen to my music, I just want to thank you so much for supporting me, and means so much to me. And it was wonderful to meet you all today. Wonderful to chat with you.
It was absolutely just a pleasure for me to be here, and an honor. Honestly, you're one of my favorite artists.
Oh my God!
Just taking the time out to chat with me has been really nice.
It's an absolute pleasure.
I will leave all of Eivør's information down below in the description. Please go ahead and see if she's going to be touring anywhere near you anytime soon. I highly recommend going to go and see her. And again, Eivør, thank you so much.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
Bye, guys.
Bye.